That's okay. We weren't reprimanding you. Um, but I was looking at it from a standpoint of maybe doing like a seminar for like a senior seminar for like downsizing. This morning we have a friendship center. It's called the Friendship Center, and they serve lunches to seniors. So I was thinking about that this morning on our my mastermind call this morning. So
What's and obviously you'd probably do it in person versus a
yes,
webinar.
they have they literally have a center, and like they go in and have lunch, and then they have like play like cards, and it's just kind of like a community center for seniors. And I think lunch is like $2, and it's made there on site. It's really a good deal. And they also do like the Meals on Wheels out of there for local people, because we do have a older community.
Yeah.
So
Would you would you just reach out to him and ask if you can steal 30 minutes to talk about how to properly downsize and what it's like? Because some of those people probably have been in their house 30, 40, 50 years.
oh, most definitely. And so that was kind of what I was thinking, was maybe do something, or sponsor the lunch for the day for the people coming in, and do a little brief presentation, answer questions. And I was on the chamber board with the lady that runs that, so I'm very familiar with them. So,
And then would you
which
also
is fun.
maybe get a lender to join you? That way you could talk about, like, because for older people, I'm not a fan of reverse mortgages, but elderly people like
Mhm.
them, to kind of talk about that option for them as well.
Yeah, that might be a good option. I'm not personally a fan of reverse mortgages. My girlfriend actually just did that with her father, her parents, and I'm anxious to see how that plays out, because
Yeah.
it's got a little sticky. But anyways, so yeah, so I was thinking about doing that, and talking about find ways to help them with parting with things. I find that to be a big struggle with the people in our community, that they don't want to part with those things, and they almost have, and I call it a depression era mindset, where those are their things, and they have a hard time parting with those. They keep them, they use them, reuse them, might be able to use them in the future, don't want to get rid of it. And they want to stay in their houses. So
This good conversation, because I have a listing appointment this afternoon for a 90. She's probably 93. I mean, she's been in the house 40, 50 years maybe now. And there's Sarah.
Yeah, she was coming.
hi, Sarah.
I didn't get a chance to speak up, but yeah,
Good
she said she was coming.
Sorry, I was finishing up a phone call.
No, that's okay.
We were just eagerly. We can't function without you, because, well, actually, one of the topics is for you. So anyway.
So back to what I was saying, Janice, is that is one of the struggles. She is having just a hard time even parting with furniture in her living room, and because she will be downsizing. So it's a fine line I'm gonna have to walk with her on, downsizing and getting rid of, her husband's memorabilia, who's no longer with us. Her 12 kids grew up in this 2,300 square foot house. It's nuts, and all these memories. So it's really hard. It's
12,
11 or 12.
really?
Yeah, it was 11 or 12. And I'm talking about like really wide. Like, I want to say there's 20 years between the oldest and the youngest too. It was kind of crazy.
Wow. So there is a lady who she actually just retired. She worked with a title company previously, but she has a company, it's called Senior Movers, and they help them sell off, like do like tag sales. She posts stuff online, helps them. They take a portion of the proceeds and help them sell off and downsize and move. So I was thinking about maybe having her as one of them to, talk with, come in and as a speaker or whatever, and discussing that with her and what she recommends. So I thought that might be another good option to have somebody like that come in.
Right. No, that's right. If there's ways you can add value to the seniors and make their downsizing easier, because even my in-laws who are in their mid-60s are looking at selling their place and just moving up north, but there's a lot of memories for the 30 some years they've been in the house on how to do that, and downsizing is not easy. So no, good subjects. So Sarah, home buyer webinars. I threw this on today just for you because you asked me about it, I don't know, 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
You're like, did I really? I mean, I'll show you.
I'm totally.
So I wanted to share how we do them and then kind of answer any questions and things like that. So I'm going to share I'm going to let Brad talk for a minute while I pull my screen up and get it. I have to log into his Facebook account, and I'm sure he doesn't want everybody knowing what his Facebook password is. It's like something like kitty cat 123.
It's stripper 911.
I'm going to try stripper 911. See what happens. That did not work, Brad.
Yeah, you know what it is. Could be a turd.
Are we? We're recording right now, Brad.
That joke's only funny. By the way, that joke's only funny because I hate strip clubs. I'm one of the four guys in the plant that don't like strip clubs. So it's the only reason I found it funny. Because I hate them.
Am I still
places.
Am I still lagging?
Yeah, you're lagging a little bit, Vince, today. Are you trying to share your screen yet or no?
Not yet. No, let me just go to this. Let me switch my Wi-Fi connection.
Sarah, what was your? I don't remember because I know you brought it up. What was kind of like your interest in home buyer webinars? Just have you done them? Are you looking to do them?
No, I have not done any of them. I was just kind of curious what your structure looked like and if you were videoing them. Yeah, I would even just watch one of yours to see what they're like.
Sure. I think all of ours, and Vince, you can acknowledge this, they're hosted on our YouTube channel, correct? All the ones?
No, they're not.
No, they're not. Okay. So we've done them a couple different ways. We started with Rico Demand, and we technically still have Rico Demand. And then we moved over to another platform now where we do them live, but then they're recorded in such a way that we can rerun them as advertisements or links that people can click on. And so someone could watch them at any time, basically, as if it was just happening. It's just they wouldn't be part of the live Q&A portion. Vince has kind of got it up here right now. And we there's definitely advertising. So I think we used to do 300, now we do 400.
Yep.
You want to advertise for basically about 2 weeks. There's a sweet spot.
Hold on, we're gonna let Brad stop talking because he just sometimes talks out of his ass.
That's true though. We do it for 2 weeks. I don't say anything untruthful yet.
We don't. It's not 2 weeks.
Yes, it is. It's 2 weeks. 10 days, something like that.
Right. So, for example, so we use our Meta business page to run the ads. Ads, if we run one on if the webinar is done on Thursday, the ad goes live either Saturday or Sunday, depending on our ad spend. Because we went from $300 to $400, we started them on Saturday afternoon. 2 weeks, and let me tell you why we don't do it for even 10 days or 2 weeks. It's because, I can barely remember what I'm going to be doing this Thursday. More or less, somebody that's scrolling through Facebook and says, "Oh, there's a webinar in 2 weeks." They're just going to forget about it, right? So from that, for that reason, we shorten that window because we want to keep it fresh. And when we're in, and I'll kind of share this one, we had 3 different counties. We did Lake County, which is in Illinois for us, Kenosha and Racine counties. Even though it shows our results a little lower, I think we had 30 some people that attended. And that is because iPhones about a year ago stopped allowing things like Facebook, Instagram, and those other sites to kind of track your results. You can kind of, when you register, you can kind of put yourself as a hidden result. So these results are a little bit different than what goes into our CRM. But you can see through this, how many people we reached, what their impressions were. So reached is how many times how many phones we reached or how many computers we reached. Impressions are how many times they scrolled over it and their computer or their phone stopped on that ad. They may not have clicked on it, but they definitely stopped on it, kind of looked at it, and then moved on. And usually, honestly, Kenosha County, we usually have a lot bigger results for. And Facebook will you don't start getting great results at the beginning of your ad. They spend less money in that. And so you have to kind of tweak. So the next time I run this, I'm going to tweak the ad and how it's presented, because a lot of it has to do with how it's presented.
So here was one of my thoughts on some of these webinars. And like if you did one and uploaded it as a YouTube link, I feel like I have sometimes people message me on Messenger because it's kind of easy to track down people that you might not otherwise have a connection to.
Yep.
I definitely have, I'm not the hugest social media, but like I'm from here. I know a lot of people here. And so I feel like I will get these, messages on Messenger, and I would love to have just like a quick, like, hey, here's a quick link. This is going to go over all the things that we can do for you as a first time home buyer. It's instead of like texting them 472 words,
Right. Let me, so we use, like Brad was saying, we used to use Zoom for all of our recordings. We now went to what's called Webinar Jam, this program here. And what's cool about it is there's 2 different platforms. Webinar Jam is where you host the webinar, do the webinar, and then EverWebinar is where you can create a link. And I still have to create a link for my last one, but you could create a link and they can watch this webinar either in real time. You can see right here, just in time. Or it could be it's broadcast every Tuesday at noon, every Wednesday at 6, Friday at 9 a.m., and Saturday at 10 p.m. So if I run an ad, I would just put this link in there and they can register it. You can do the same thing. You can just go and go to attendees and give them a direct live link to this, copy it, send it to them, and then they can watch the webinar. What I also like about this is, let me do it from here. I'm trying to figure out. Let me see what happens when I run test with this one, because you guys can still see my screen. You can put things in there. Let's say you have a home buyer's guide, or let's say you have a link to let's say you have this webinar is okay, it won't let me do that one right now. But let's say you have a link to a website you want them to go to. You can put that in there and they can either download the guide, they can click on the link or copy the link. You can book a call in there with you, and they can take that link and book a call. And when you're presenting it, all you do is you're going to talk like you're presenting, and you're going to say something like, and over in the chat area, I just added the link to book a call. Go ahead, you can click on the link, copy the link, save it, and you can book a call with me whenever you'd like. Same thing with like downloading stuff or sharing things. But then you can kind of give them all this information and the ability to download stuff, get clickable links, different things like that. So that's why I like Webinar Jam versus Zoom, because Zoom, you couldn't do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I
went really fast, didn't I?
No, and that's okay. I'm just I'm interested, and I'll have to find your webinars and watch them for,
So here, let me, what I'll do is,
Hey, Sarah, something else you said I want to comment on too.
what was that?
Something else you said though, I want to comment on. You had talked about doing videos like just for like, you don't like explain the same thing to 472 people. It's basically kind of what I understood.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like I could set up a few little blurbs, you know, for specific
Right.
type properties. I feel like especially the first time home buyers though.
Yeah,
Even if it was
you
just, even if it was just a couple videos that were like basic steps to the home buying process. Like, okay, we're going to look
Yeah.
at properties. We're going to get your pre-approved for your loan. We're going to figure out what your budget is. And,
So
you're
you
going to
could do a couple things there. One, we've done, they're on our YouTube channel. We've done like, okay, your home's under contract as a buyer. Now what? The next 10 steps or something like that.
yeah, I feel like some of those would be super helpful.
Yeah. Or so we've recorded those and they're just housed on our YouTube channel. We could send those to buyers. Or do you use BombBomb by chance?
No.
BombBomb's a great tool. It's not super expensive, and you can record like what seems a little bit more of a personalized video, but you could do like a generic one, like basically like the next steps. Hey, here's the information, and you gotta like about what's next now that your home's under contract. Make sure you get your earnest money, your escrow money, whatever it's called in your state or whatever. And then we gotta get your inspection scheduled and stuff like that. And below is the email detail. So you can add the video to like the BombBomb's pretty versatile for stuff like that too.
Yeah. And so tell me again, I'm not sure if I heard you right. What is that program called?
BombBomb.
Like BOMB?
BOMB. I think that's the actual spelling of it. BombBomb.
I think it is.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is. BombBomb is a video messaging platform. We get it linked to our KV Core. But it can sync up to like Google Mail platforms pretty easily. I think other platforms too. I think it syncs up to Google really well. And let me see if I can get it queued up here so that we can kind of show it to you.
So while Brad's talking, can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so like when he was talking about, so we have like 10 steps for a seller's accepted offer, benefits of using a real estate agent, if you have a home sale contingency, what that means, 10 selling tips before listing your home. So like if someone asks us, hey, what happens after our offer is accepted, we just send them this video. And we do that with our, like anytime we get an accepted offer, this video is part of our campaign. That automatically goes to them. So they kind of have an idea. We still summarize it in an email, but this video is great for them to reference back to. So we have that for buyers and sellers. And I think this video, even though it's a corny picture, we made with our cell phones.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're great tools. Like, I mean, I feel like people sometimes like the more real
Real time.
versions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here, I'll when you're done, Vince, I'll share my screen. Actually, I'll send an actual live video text to a client because I actually have to tell him something. So let me
you could share, Brad.
Oh, Vince,
okay.
did you
Actually, hold on. I don't want it on this screen. I want it on a different screen.
Vince, were you what you shared, that was YouTube. So are those private and then they're viewable to anybody you send the link to?
They're
Or
public.
they're just public on your page, so anybody can go to your page and they can see any of those videos?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And the biggest thing is you want to make sure you hashtag them. So if you're doing YouTube videos, make sure you have the hashtags in there. And I'll be honest, it wasn't until yesterday I was like, I wonder if our YouTube videos get any traction or anything like that. I do a market report once every other week, and a buyer that I just started working with was a referral. I told him, I said, hey, we have our podcast Monday morning, so if you call me about making an offer, not sure I'll be available. And he goes, you also do a market report, don't you? And I said, well, yeah, why? He goes, I thought you looked familiar. My sister sent me your YouTube market report. And I was like, oh, son of a bitch, that's awesome. So yeah, it
That's
was
super
kind of,
cool.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you guys this. I think I did last week. I was at a barbecue and somebody recognized me from my Facebook posts from like, she was like, oh, you're a realtor. I had no idea who she was. I was like, yeah, I am.
Right. You
I was
you
like,
did talk that. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm like, okay, I feel like it's good when people you don't know are starting to recognize you. That's positive.
Well, yeah.
So can I ask you guys, when you put your hashtag in your YouTube video, what are you using for hashtags?
Selling a house, for sale by owner, listing your house, real
Team
estate,
name, our brokerage name,
team
other
name,
brokerages names.
other brokerages names. We use other, Jess is laughing. We use other brokerages names when we're talking about EXP. So if we talk about something that EXP has done, we throw in there hashtag Caldwell Bankers, hashtag Shore West, Keller Williams, at properties, a lot of the big brokerages around us, so that agents see that are following Shore West or one of those other ones, they say, oh, EXP just was the number one company in the nation for residential listings. That's pretty cool, right? They see all this stuff. Or, oh, Vincent Brad just made X amount of dollar or already hit cap and we're not even to June yet. So they see those things when you hashtag it and they're like, how do I hit cap by end of April, right? So it's kind of
some would say, what's a cap? When on the brokerage, someone would say, what's a cap, you know?
I feel like I have too much loyalty sometimes, and I feel like I'm sorry, I'm getting off subject.
No, it's okay.
I got over loyalty a long time ago when I started looking at my the amount of money I was paying brokerages. So that was part of it. All right,
well,
you guys can go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, for me, I feel like I started very new. I mean, I've only been doing this for 3 years, and I kind of went with somebody that I felt comfortable with, and I knew he was getting older and would probably want to retire at some point. And that was a huge part of why I chose that. Able to see that there potentially could be a bigger opportunity, but
sure,
I've been crunching the numbers and even if I got my broker's license and opened, a brick and mortar building, it doesn't make sense to be the broker when I could work for somebody else and be still making 90% or more.
Yeah.
Nope. Sarah, let's talk. Like, you're kind of like what you're starting to talk about. You need some very specific information to make a decision. So on all seriousness, I think we should have a one-on-one conversation. Because believe me,
in the future. Yeah, I was really just thinking YouTube hashtags, and I need to work on what I'm doing there because I don't feel like.
Yeah. Well,
I don't
that
know.
brokerage conversation though it's important because I've had part ownership in a brokerage. I've been straight new agent. I've run teams out of brokerages, and I never want to be a broker owner again in my life. But that's just me. That doesn't mean it's wrong or it's not good for people. Just got to start diving into what's the best fit for you, basically.
I agree. And on one hand, I feel like, Eric took me when I had zero experience and definitely did kind of show me the ropes in a lot of ways. But at the same time, I also paid him really well to do that.
And you should. I mean, when you have higher splits with brokerages, you should you should always be asking the question, what am I getting for this? Right.
Yeah.
And then you should ask that of every brokerage that you meet with, and then which one's the best fit for you. I'll leave it at that for now. All right.
Yeah. No, that's
Um,
fine.
But yeah, I'd
So,
love to have a
okay, I
one-on-one
have another
conversation.
question for you guys with the hashtags. So I'm curious. Okay, so I have some videos, like people will put a listing on the internet with no interior photos. So I have been like going in and shooting a video. And so it's interesting because I feel like sometimes I have several clients who are like, hey, do you know anything about this property? And I'm like, yeah, I already shot a video. And then I could just send them the YouTube link. I'm wondering if I hashtag those with the property address, if people who are interested in those properties, they're searching Google for, say they write down, oh, I really like this house, or they save it or whatever. I'm just wondering if that's bringing any traffic to those videos specifically.
Well,
That probably would, Sarah, but sorry. I was gonna say, you probably have to use caution of taking a video in someone else's house and advertising it, because that's kind of
Right?
advertising. Now, I have done it where there was a vacant property and I went and did a video tour for a client, because where we are, a lot of the areas there's no service. So I have to take a video and send it to them. I can't
Yeah.
FaceTime them or anything like that. So I've taken a video, and it was usually they're little lake cottages. And so I had that saved on my YouTube, which I shared with these people. And then I kept I was getting a ton of calls on this one specific property. So I had the video and I said, hey, yeah, this is what it is. I have a video of it. Did you want to take a look at it? Because a lot of them were people driving over an hour
Yeah.
to 2 hours to view this property. So I said, I have a video I took for somebody else. Do you want me to share it with you before you make the drive? And they're like, yeah. And I would send it to them. But having it out there on the internet open, that might become an issue.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
You might have to
too,
tread lightly.
And like, even, the internet says, our listing, what are you in California?
No, I'm in Ohio, but you would have to give credit for sure to the listing agent and the brokerage.
Definitely.
And say listed by and say that. But a lot of in a lot of the rooms when I've talked about this and listened in on it, you really should have permission from the listing agent and seller before doing that.
Yeah.
And you would want it in writing, so you had it. So maybe send an email and say, hey, I have a lot of people asking me about this or interested in it. Is it okay if I take a video that I can share with them and, have out there and share with them? But there's probably a reason they don't have the video or interior pictures. Is probably because the seller didn't want them for some reason.
Yeah. Well, and I
So
feel
they
like
might not give permission.
I feel like sometimes people do it because they want that, like, the mystery factor a little bit. And it's super frustrating because I'm similar to you. Like, I have tons of people who were driving 2 and 3 hours to see something. And so I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like it's super helpful to be able to share that. But yeah, at the same time,
I
I would
completely agree.
not to be in hot water either. So
yeah,
but like
it
our listing agreements say right in the listing agreement that like people may take videos and photos of the interior of your home.
Oh, is that like standard for your MLS?
Yes, it is. Our listing agreements, it says that right in the listing agreement.
And Sarah, to Janice's point, like, even though it says that, then it's a different aspect when you go to advertise it. And like, once you put it out there on social media, it's kind of an advertise it. So we're the same here, where we have to ask permission, not from the agent, but from the broker.
Yeah.
Get the broker's permission, and then we have to give credit to them if we're putting it on social media, YouTube, wherever it is. So, to be cautious on that, I would just get the broker's permission, and then give credit at the very bottom of of the YouTube description. No one says it has to be at the top. It just got to be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And then use that. And here's the positive to that, right? So what Brad's going to share the bomb. I don't know where Brad went. Maybe he's just sitting there in silence.
I'm here. I just sorry, I just got to turn my camera.
No, it's okay. Just giving you crap. So the difference between bomb and you doing it on YouTube is YouTube, you get them to look at one property and then you have 5 other properties there. Now you're driving more traffic to your channel. And, obviously the more subscribers you have, the more people are going to, share your channel or come and view it because it's going to move up the algorithm list, right? So
Yeah.
I would, if that's something you're interested in, I'd go after the YouTube side of things, get permission, say, hey, there's no interior. I get a lot of questions about this. Do you mind if I do a video of it and share it with my network? Just say network. They don't have to know you're putting it on YouTube. I mean,
Yeah.
that's your network, right? And
Mhm.
then just give them credit and then hashtag the shit out of it with the property address, the city, the county, so that if they're, if they go into YouTube and they go Ozaki County or whatever county you're in, it could be one that pops up as a thing. And just make sure you have a very catchy thumbnail too. So, because thumbnails are what's going to drive people to click on it.
Yeah, I feel like that really has some potential though. Because I definitely, and sometimes it's stuff that's in a more competitive price range because they're like the ugly houses, people are like, "Whoa, this looks like a smoking deal," but but is it?
Yeah. And ideally, if you can help them, save them of driving an hour to look at a property, like you've now added an additional service that obviously no one else is doing.
Yeah, I just did one, and it was a neat property, nice neighborhood, had a little peeking ocean view. I had clients that they wanted to write an offer on it sight unseen, and I just said, let me drive out there. I'll do a quick video tour for you guys. It'll give you a little bit better of an idea of what that property is like. And it was right next to kind of a big highway. And from the pictures, you could have not interpreted the highway noise. And so when I did an exterior video, she was like, wow, I was not expecting that much highway noise. That's a deal breaker. And I'm like, well, I'm glad you didn't have to drive 6 hours to find that out.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm so glad that you sent that to us. So
And so, right, there is a lot of value. Now, Brad, were you going to share Bomb?
Yeah. You guys see my screen right now?
Yeah, we can still see it.
Okay. So I'm actually going to send a live video. So you access it through Core because we have it through KV Core. Otherwise, you can log into BombBomb directly. You can sync it to your email. There's a number of different ways. It just depends how you have it set up. So now I'm basically in a BombBomb. It's already set up for contacts. I can add contacts. I could use a pre-template email. And of course, I missed this part. You can select whether you're going to send a email or text. I'm actually going to send a text in this case. And to Scott, I'm not using a text template in this case. And I'm just gonna quickly type additional details about the stager and her services. And then I can just go ahead and record a video, which I'm going to record a new video. But if you had a bunch of pre-recorded videos, reduced pricing Facebook ad response. So that's a canned one that I have. If we get that's one of our leads on Facebook that we use. So if I call them, they don't answer, I can just click text and I use this video. It's pre-recorded, basically says, hey, I've been trying to reach you to talk about your home. Give me a call at your earliest convenience, type of thing. Whatever it is, you can list it. Checking in, let me know. There's a couple here. When I label them like that, they're ones that are designed that I could probably use over and over again. So I'm gonna X out this. I'm gonna record a fresh one, just open recorder. And then as soon as I hit record, it'll count down. I'll say what I'm going to say. Hey, Scott, Brad, just want to follow up. I did text Sarah yesterday. I was at your house or at the kid's house. And Sarah does have a cleaner also as part of her services. She did call me this morning. So she is expecting and awaiting your call. Talk to you soon and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. So real quick, I'll send video, use this recording. And yes, I've already typed my simple message to him. He'll know, he'll know what that means and send. So I just text Scott a video message. But like I said, you can have those in BombBomb. You can record those and keep those and use them for multiple different clients. So it's one good way to do it.
And
Yeah, that's handy.
the one thing Brad did not show you in there was you can also put call to actions or links in there. And it pops up in like right here in the video. And so you can say, hey, Sarah, here's that listing that you're asking about. I also attached a link right there. Go ahead and just click on it. It'll take you right to that listing. Or you wanted to see the video of that lake house, it's right there. So it's really cool too, because you can put call to actions in there as well.
Yeah, it's pretty customizable as far as how you message people. But so there's a number of different ways so you can do it.
Yeah, I think that's all very good stuff. I'll have to look into that one. I feel like the thing about YouTube that I really like is I can put these videos together in like 10 minutes on my phone and they're just so accessible. Like I like to work off of I work from my phone a ton.
Yeah.
Which I don't know.
So do you have a YouTube channel set up, Sarah?
I do.
Oh, where'd my screen go?
Sarah, BombBomb has an app also.
Okay, see, that's handy.
Yeah, it does have an app that right there. So
Oh yeah.
but it does have an app that you can use with it also that makes it super easy. And it's nice because it tracks like opens and all that stuff. Like you can see how many times they've opened it and how much they've watched the videos and all that good stuff. So it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I feel like that's
Sarah, you now have 4 subscribers because I just subscribed to your Mendocino Coastal Real Estate.
very good. Yeah. And see, I feel like I would like to go back through all my videos and delete a bunch of videos of like all these old properties and start doing more community and,
So
things that are going to have better like long-term. I mean, it's like all these things they're sold. They don't even exist anymore. Why are they up there?
yeah, like I'm looking at south of FB. I don't know what that is, but it's a picture
Fort
of
Bragg.
Okay.
And some of them, okay, so this was a property that was not listed. And so that's why there's no address.
Oh, gotcha.
It was like a pocket list. There's my broker, Eric. So yeah, I just wanted a video to be able to send to people. Super basic.
But I mean, that's a good way to also advertise pocket listings. My only recommendation is for you to create playlists.
Create playlists.
Yeah. So that like you can have like properties for sale or things to do in the county, and then another playlist could be buyer side, seller side. So as you create them, you put them in those playlists so people can easily find them and aren't trying to scroll through 20 videos if they're on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, and see, I'm not techie enough. Like I feel like I have so much that I could learn. Okay, but I do see where it says playlists. Yeah. And okay, so I have something I can work on for sure.
And Sarah, if you want, we can we can set up like a 30-minute call, and I'm more than happy to kind of walk you through some of the things I've learned and whatnot.
Okay, yeah.
So it's
I feel like there's so much potential in YouTube and what you can put out there for people that is untapped for me.
exactly. Yeah, no, I think that's all of us. And even like our one up sponsors started a new YouTube channel because she sees the value in it, and she does, about every other day she's doing another YouTube video.
That's awesome.
And like even Brad and I last week we did, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago, we both picked a city and we talked about the city and different things to do in there. So it's, and like this week where our video that's going to be on YouTube probably next week after it gets edited is reality versus expectations of being a real estate agent. And so we're gonna have a little bit of fun because people are like, oh, you're a real estate agent. Well, a good example is a buyer I'm working with, like kind of crunched the numbers like, oh, you're going to make $10,000 on this deal. I said, no. Let me show you how this is going to break down right now. And they're like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
I got some fun stuff. I got some fun things like in my head about how I want this video to go. If we did them all, I think this video might be 10 minutes, which we need to make it about 3 minutes, but funny.
Right.
I know we're gonna take a couple shots at the golf course because I get that from other realtors. Oh, it must be nice. You just golf all the time. No, I have a very specific schedule of when I golf. Is what it is. Very, very rarely do we just like all of a sudden on a Wednesday, Wednesday, yes, but on a Friday afternoon, like, oh yeah, let's go get 18 in. Anyway, we don't have to do that very often. So Janice is bouncing.
Bye, Janice. Have a good day.
Bye, Janice.
Bye. You too.
Yeah, no, I had this kids horse camp thing this weekend, and so I took my horses out. I was like, okay, I gotta exercise the horses. We need them to be tired so they're well behaved for all these small children tomorrow. And I was literally like leading 2 horses back home from the arena with my phone stuck in my shirt on speaker, talking to a client about construction loans. Like, it's just like it means you answer your phone all the time doing really weird things.
Yeah.
Well,
that would have been a perfect opportunity for someone to like grab their camera and video you doing this and like use it as a quick Facebook meme or something. They'd be like, you think I just ride horses? I'm also working.
Right? Like all the time. I having to explain to my client, all of a sudden one of the horses like whinnies super loud. I'm like, so I'm just leaving the barn, but I thought this was important, so I wanted to call you back. I'm just like, oh my God. Thanks, horse. Like you totally blew my
Well, and I think that transparency with people too, because even like on Saturday, one of our clients reached out to me and I was like, oh, let me look that up. She's like, oh, it's Saturday. I'm sorry I bothered you on a Saturday. I was like, you're funny. I do real estate for a living. There's no such thing as really an off day, as much as we would like.
Yeah, no, and I, she knew I was doing this because I had told her ahead of time. I'm like, hey, you won't be able to get me my phone Saturday, Sunday. One of the ladies in my office, where she's fabulous, we cover for each other. I super appreciate having that. It makes it, not that I take very much time off, but it's great knowing that we can do that for one another.
Right.
Just, I can put on my voicemail. If you have an urgent anything, you just get a showing in today, call her. She's covering for me. I'll be out of the office.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of funny. Just like one horse in each hand, phone stuffed in my shirt on speaker.
So that's awesome. Okay,
yeah,
well,
classic.
I think before instead of jumping into another conversation, we can end a little bit early. But yeah, Sarah, if you want to, want to pick my brain on YouTube and help you kind of set it up a little bit, I'm more than happy to help. Just let me know.
Yeah, no, I feel like I could pick your brain on a few things. Yeah.
Sarah. So, it sounds like you're also kind of at that point where you're talking brokerage stuff, like potential brokerage changes. Is that?
I am.
She's probably in the
in my-
office right now, Brad, and can't talk freely on this.
No, I'm not. I'm at home. So
Oh.
it's fine. It's totally private. I can talk about whatever. Yeah, I feel like my last career, I stayed there for almost 18 years, and I feel like it was probably like 8 to 10 years longer than I should have stayed there. And I
Okay.
really like where I'm at. I enjoy it. I like the people that I work with. I enjoy my broker, but I also feel like I'm spending a lot of money to be there. And on one hand, I feel kind of bad because like he also took me when he knew I didn't know anything.
Sure.
Just because he's known me personally from my previous job, actually, and just I think he's seen my husband and I, and we've worked and what we've done and the things we've completed and the business.
Oh, you're
Slam
muted.
dunk. I can't go wrong.
Right. I
And
guess
I think he's been pretty happy with me, but at the same time, I don't know that I'm really doing the best thing for myself.
well,
What did
I think any good broker, I think just any good person, it's kind of like I look at it like this. Like I'm a big fan of when agents start in the business that they join a team. For the most part, unless you're the team leader, in most instances, teams are not designed for agents to stay long term because they're a great stepping stone. They help you get consistency, get you leads, all the things that new agents struggle with. Brokerages can be the same way, but eventually, when you get to a certain point, you're obviously at that point because you're recognizing it. Then it has to start to look at that. Okay, what's the best move for my business and my family? Because there's always a phase. If that is staying with the same brokerage, awesome, great, that's wonderful. Because when you change, there's always a little bit of extra work that comes in changing something.
Yes.
That's why I have changed 4 times, and that's why I put a lot of thought and effort into EXP, and there's the right criteria I like technology. I think technology makes things easier. It's a great brokerage for tech. I believe in there's an appropriate amount of money that you should pay your broker, but it doesn't have to be continuous. So there's a cap. I like that. The education, literally, not just weekly, daily, I could get some sort of training, whether from EXP directly, from our organization, meaning our fast forward movement, from my direct sponsor, from our team, because Vince tells me what to do every day in some form or fashion. Then it's come down
doesn't
to
always
this,
listen.
right. And then another thing that I want to get that's important for me is I don't want to direct. Vince and I both we don't want to be direct selling goals. So what are my passive income opportunities? Those are all things that when I looked at all the options and the fact that I want to eventually do a license in Wisconsin and Florida. So that was important too, of course. You take all those things kind of like, what's the best one for me? EXP checked all those boxes. And
Have you guys ever listened to it's a podcast? I think it's called The Modern. Oh, yeah, I sent you the link from one of them.
Yeah.
Did you guys listen to that?
I listened to a little bit of one, but not much.
Well, it's probably beyond your, skill set level. You guys have both been doing this for a long time, but I really got a lot out of that. Just the way that some of those things were phrased. And also, like, I feel like I've gone into so many listings appointments feeling like I have no competition and like people just, are going to use me because they like me. And that's a really dumb way to look at it. So I had to reevaluate that a little bit and just ask people like, yeah, if you're interviewing multiple people, give me another shot. Let me know what they say. And I'm going to give you the pros and cons to that.
A lot of different things. One of the tips Vince picked up on listing appointments is he was watching one guy that was in our fast forward group within EXP talk about how to like take control. And I remember one thing he said that I didn't watch this when Vince watched it, so he kind of related to me was I thought it was pretty smart. He even dictated like where they sat in their own home. Hey, let's go to the kitchen table. Let's talk. You know, hey, you sit here, you sit here. I'm going to sit right here. Like just taking as much control of the appointment. Because if you're in control, I had this happen the other week. I don't like being the third agent in. If you're interviewing 3 agents over 3 days, I was third of third. They didn't get to me because someone did a really good job, of course, and got the listing. I didn't get a chance then. So
Yeah.
like I want to be one of 3 at least, if not one of one, hopefully, if I do a good job, right? Just little things, going in and taking control and walking. I did it yesterday. I walked in and I took control. Even though the guy grabbed my paperwork, the father-in-law and the father of the people who are actually selling, he actually apologized. Said, "Can I take control here for a second on something?" But it was just that one thing. Otherwise, I controlled and I dictated what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So just little tips like that you can get from everybody. You know, that podcast I'm sure is great. I'm gonna listen to it more because I'd love to hear what they're talking about. But we get that every single week out of our fast forward group.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, and I love it's probably a great group. That's why I enjoy this group. I also feel like some of it's just funny and it's almost comical relief a little bit. So I only listen to things I enjoy. Like I can't listen to things just because they're informational.
Well, especially when it's a podcast, right? You don't, that's boring then if it's just informational. They gotta bring like real life scenarios, humor to it to add interest.
Yeah. So if you follow up with Vince, on the other topic, I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you more about, you know, just the process and just things that EXP has to offer. And I'm sure they're pretty big in your area because I know as a company we're growing. I think we're 86
surprisingly,
plus.
They're not very big in my area. I think I've seen maybe 1 or 2 other agents that work through EXP. They don't have I wonder where their closest like brick and mortar building is. Because I don't think that there's one. What was that?
Our closest is 40 minutes away, I believe.
Yeah.
So we're not, but here's where you'll be surprised. Before I went to EXP, I actually didn't think we had as a company. I wasn't concerned with the company because that's the great thing is like we brand our team. EXP, it's just like, it's kind of like the whole thing, like Eagle Homes, brokered by EXP, powered by EXP. That's how it's phrased. Look at our signs. I mean, I don't have our logo handy, but EXP is like shows up like this. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because if you looked at some of the teams of the agents, like I'm driving around seeing some signs. I'm like, oh, Michelle, such and such. Oh shit, she's with EXP. I didn't even know she was with EXP. Like, because you look at her sign, it's like it's about her or her team. I made up that name, but it's like that with everybody. It's like our sign. You see our signs around you. You would just see Eagle Homes. You have to look down where it says, "Oh, brokered by EXP Realty."
Well, and I feel like that's another possibility as well, that maybe the whole entire brokerage would benefit from switching to EXP, because I know like Eric, this is kind of his 3rd career. His mom was a real estate law attorney. He worked for Cal Fire. He was like a helicopter pilot. He's owned a rental car business. He owned a flight school. He's the man has lived like 9 lives. And he's really pushing me to get my broker's license. But I've been looking at numbers. He's like, I'll put you to 90% of everything. And I'm like, I could be making that just as an agent. So why would I want to take on the responsibility of being the broker of record and still making what I could be making
without the headaches?
Yeah, we're starting to meet with more, and I think I've referenced this came up before. Is I used to coach a guy who literally opened his own brokerage fresh, and got to open like 2 or 3 offices. He moved his entire brokerage, and without even asking, I know why he did it. They get to focus on the business, not the other stuff. So you leave Vince.
I gotta jump off and call Eric.
That's fine. I got to get on a call in a second, but I'll finish up.
Yeah, do
Right. Bye, Sarah.
Yeah, bye. Thanks for everything.
Yep, bye.
So
Anyway,
I haven't even got a chance to talk to him yet because he's super busy. But he and his team and his brokerage get to focus on selling, marketing, meeting clients. They don't have to worry about the audits and the E&O insurance and all that crap, right? That's the broker side of it, the compliance shit.
well, and I have a feeling that there's probably things that like are not up to par, in my opinion. Just
Probably
because
not,
like
and
my
you-
broker doesn't even look at my transactions when they're finished. You know,
yeah,
I mean,
see, you have to load it's loaded in SkySlope, and we have compliance people that check each document and they'll tell you, oh, hey, this is missing. Like, yeah, otherwise you're right, in a small brokerage, like you're the broker, just typically the one doing it.
yeah. And like, and he
And
just
that's-
doesn't. Like nobody's
it's an
looking at my
added
stuff.
workload.
I've been doing this for 3 years.
That's-
Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. And like, nobody's even looking at my, I mean, we have a fabulous transaction coordinator who is great. And honestly, he's probably more knowledgeable than I am. I'm so grateful to have him, but I just, I feel like I'm not really ready to be the senior broker. And I definitely don't feel like I'm ready to be responsible for everyone else's transactions.
Here's where and I would introduce, like, I would, maybe you learn a little more about it, then I would talk to your broker. I went to my old broker. I actually was like, hey, when I said, listen, guys, I'm going to be dual licensed in multiple states, I probably can't stay here because you guys are just regionalized. I said, there's some huge benefits. And by the way, as broker owners, you guys probably make more money because of the revenue share. Like, you bring your whole brokerage over, you'll probably make more money, and your broker probably would, especially because of the continued growth beyond that. And there's less pressure to keep people, as long as people stay within EXP, they can be solo, they can be on teams. If you sponsor them and bring them in, they're in your downline, you get that revenue share off of what EXP makes off them, which is by the way, it's also willable, which is kind of cool. I just explained this to my daughter the other day. I'm like, you want my revenue share to get to, the 5-figure, even 6-figure a month stuff, because can you imagine making $85,000 a year and not doing shit, or $85,000 a month not doing shit? Like, the stuff just compounds. So, like I said, that was just one facet. I mean, there's other stuff definitely I really enjoyed about it, but you have to, you gotta look at it and see what fits for you. But it's something if I were you, I would definitely present to my broker, especially if he's looking to exit and he's looking for somebody to take over. Like, well, you don't need to. And by the way, he can stay licensed. And now, if I were you, I'd be smart. I would sponsor him, let him sponsor the rest of the brokerage. You just increase your downline. He could completely retire. He could completely retire and make good money.
And I mean, like right now we have, well, I mean, he sells, he doesn't sell a ton, but he still sells. I feel like for him, it's more of a hobby. He's got his few people that he sells stuff for over and over and over again. And it's like the same 10 people. And literally that's all he needs. But
Right.
he's got retirement income, and I think he enjoys having something to do, but also would like to not. It would be great if somebody else was available to take the phone calls for like, hey, I'm having this situation. How do I handle this? And he was not the guy getting those phone calls.
Yeah. If you want, think about if you want, what I would do is 2 things. I'd invite you to one of our Monday fast forward calls where it's kind of like what we do here, except on a larger scale. So there's a lot more collaboration and activity. There's thousands of agents in our organization, but there's usually about 700 every Monday on the fast forward movement Zoom meeting, less an hour. It's from 10 to 11 Pacific, and then I would set up a one-on-one with my sponsor. She's got a good sized team out of Cape Coral, Florida, and she does a great job of explaining, way better than I could do, all the different benefits, not only for you potentially, but to present to your broker. Just move your entire company over, which is awesome because then you don't have to leave.
Yeah, because I don't really want to leave.
And
I just feel like
and
we
Eric
could
might
be-
actually appreciate that. Holy crap, Sarah thinks, he's kind of suing you to take over. And well, not only instead of suing me to take over, here's a model that relieves a lot of what you don't want to do and can send you to retirement. And nobody really has to take over except for maybe if you got to become like a broker team or something. And you don't even have to do that, She can explain it a lot better than I can, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that would be good. So
But I'll get you invited to our Monday once the new password comes out. They have a change passwords every week on that. I'll invite you if you want to just mark it on your schedule. The fast forward calls from 10 to 11 your time, and then after that I'll set up a call with Candace. She can explain it really well.
So that would be on Monday, the 8th would be the next one.
Correct.
And what time did you say?
It's from 10 to 11 Pacific.
Pacific. Okay.
I don't know what the topics are yet. They announce them at the end of the week.
Gotcha.
And then I would schedule you with a one-on-one. Well, myself, you, Vince might be on, and then Candace. She's our sponsor. She's one to really ask the questions, and she'd be able to explain, and probably could help us schedule a meeting with your broker to explain what might be the good benefits of moving just everything over. But it will be important. If you want to be number one on that chart, it'd be like you go, then you bring Eric and he brings everybody else. There will be when you see the revenue share and how it works, there's a very smart reason for you to make sure you're ahead of Eric on that pecking order.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I feel like it could be a benefit to everybody else in my brokerage, and I feel like that could potentially be better for everybody else than if I become the broker. Like then I'm not offering them anything better than what they're getting now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's clean and simple. Like if they all maintain and there's no teams, well, if they're just independent agents, well, then they're just paying the 20% to. Well, if there's office space, Eric has the right because his EXP does not open offices. The agents or team leaders have to open offices. But there's a way to structure it, but still that there's caps involved there. You cap 16 grand if you're a sole agent.
Yeah, and see, I'm spending double that.
It's on your anniversary date. So like my anniversary is in March. So my cap's 16,000. Vincent is actually 8,000 because if you have a team structure, team leaders 16,000, the rest are 8, but then there's team splits. That's way dependent on how you organize things. But if everybody came over as an independent agent, everybody has a $16,000 cap. My cap just reset in March. So it'll be March, April, May. Probably by June I'll be capped.
Mm-hmm.
And will not pay EXP another nickel for another 8 months after that.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
It's amazing. Plus, then you're earning revenue share off of any recruiting that you do. You're earning stock options off of just selling, whether you contribute to stock options. I don't even talk about stock options because stock is stock. It's going to be worth what it's going to be worth. But you get stock options too.
Yeah, no, I think there's some positive things to think about.
Well, let me, I'll get you the invite for Monday. Obviously we'll talk next Monday, and then, I'll set up something with Candace. She's a great person to we'll set up a Zoom meeting like this and let you guys talk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, sounds
she
great.
can answer your questions. She could talk about best way to approach Eric and all this stuff, which is way better than I can. So I'll let her,
Yeah,
let her
that-
take that on.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good. Thanks for everything.
Sounds good. Well, have a great week. I'll get the stuff over to you. As soon as the password and agenda comes up next week, I'll send the invite over.
Okay, sounds great. All
All
right.
right.
We'll
Thanks.
see you next week. All right, bye.
Bye.